So she rushed in the bathroom and turned off the shower water and like went to feel for a pulse, because the way he was just slumped over, she was concerned that he was like gone, gone, not drunk gone, but gone, R.I.P. gone. What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's story, we got one from the military. It's so wild because she didn't even want to be in Korea. She had no interest in K-pop, Korean dramas, Korean food, Korean nothing. She said if anything, she was hoping she'd be based in Japan. So for this story time, we're going to see what happens to a girl when she tried to make the best of a situation she didn't really want to be in, get to know the locals, have some fun, and how she fucked around and found out. In all seriousness, she said she wanted to share this story because I did a story on my channel about a hookup that had a good happy ending and it's still continuing to play out happily ever after. She wanted to show what happens on the other side of the coin when shit goes awry. She said the last hookup story time was so wholesome and it led to something so beautiful. After seeing that video, I wanted to let you guys know what could happen when it really goes wrong. Even after reading her message, it left me with just confusion and questions. Before we get into this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, drive up the engagement, watch the video for as long as you can tolerate my voice. We are getting so close to 100,000 subscribers. This is crazy. This submission came to my Instagram. You guys can follow me on Instagram there, Cece Lesson 3. She didn't email me. She said she doesn't email, so she sent me several DMs and got the story to me. So the star of today's story has to be called Jessie from Toy Story. She says she's a bit of a cowgirl and she really likes to ride, if you catch my meaning. Jessie is only 21.
21?
At the time of this story. So this is probably the youngest submission we've had. Most people have been like 24, 25, 28, like mid to late 20s. She's a baby. She says she joined the military pretty much as soon as she graduated high school. She knew that she wanted to do something to serve her country, and she also wanted them to help her pay for school. She doesn't want to give away too much information about where she's based and all that good stuff, but in 2021, she was moved to Korea. So, a few months goes by, she's living in Korea, she's in a country she really had no interest or knowledge of wanting to ever visit. I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2021, Korea still had pretty strict COVID curfews and rules. When I got there in February, places were only allowed to be open until like 9 or 10 p.m. So she mostly had her military buddies, her friends on the base, and she wanted to find some other people. She was kind of sick of seeing the same faces. She only had her fellow soldiers, and this is, even though she is a soldier, she avoids them like the plague. She will never date another soldier. And this is coming from a soldier.
Listen to me. We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. You hear me? It's coming from inside the house.
But Jessie says she was lonely, she needed some affection, she needed some lovin'.
McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Now, oddly enough, she chose Meef.
What did he say?
Poor girl. She said don't ask her for an explanation because she ain't got one. She don't know why she chose Meef, but Meef was chosen. So, she would chat up a few guys here and there. Mostly, it kind of led to nothing, but there was one guy that she met, she liked him, she hooked up with him, and that was it. Then there was this other fellow, the subject of today's story. She said that he seemed very nice and was relatively normal, so they continued to chat. She said for her the biggest shock was that she found someone on Meef she was actually physically attracted to, because she had never really been attracted to Asian guys. She said she always grew up preferring Latino men, spicy Latino men, with the caramel skin and whatnot. So yeah, when she found this man very attractive, it caught her off guard. She wanted to talk to him and get to know him more. After a few days of chatting, they agreed to meet up. So for this story, we're gonna call him Ju. Ju was 25. She said he was pretty tall, maybe 185 centimeters or about 6 feet. He had a buzz cut, which she said really worked for like his head shape and his style, and he wore these two tiny little hoops that she really liked. She loved his dimples. She said he had a really nice, sweet, shy smile. She said like she could tell he worked out. He was lean, but there was some muscle there, so she liked it. Visually pleasing. So when they first met, they decided to go to a park because it's 2021. Being outdoors where fresh air is circulating, you're not in a closed, compacted place. It was very COVID-friendly activity. One thing that caught me off guard and surprised me is she said that his English was really bad. She said he relied on like a translator app for a lot of the conversation. She had this theory that he understood English pretty well but couldn't really speak it very well, because he would listen and it seemed like he understood, and when he said something he would speak Korean and then let it play for her. So after they spent the day in the park, they had some snacks, they had a little bit of soju, did a little bit of drinking. She wanted to kind of get right to business.
Hey man, where is the chase and how do I cut to it?
She felt bold, and let's be frank, she was horny. Being in the military, you do have a curfew, so she couldn't be out too late. So she asked him if they could go somewhere to... And bless him, he did not understand what she meant. So she had to type it out and let Google Translate show what she meant, what she intended. So she said he got real close to her phone and was like, Oh, like she said his face lit up, he was flushed, he was blushing. He said, ah, okay, you want with me? Really, chinchorro? She said after that, he all but dragged her to his place, like.
Let's get started.
So she does go into a bit of detail, but this is on YouTube. I gotta keep it YouTube friendly. I don't want to get demonetized. But she did say the first thing that he did, he went to the store and got some wine and some candles. He's like setting a romantic mood. Now keep this in mind for later in the story because it seems harmless and, you know, whatever right now, but puzzle pieces kind of fit a little bit later. He also got some protection. Wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. What sounded nice in reading these DMs is first, she said that he offered to give her a back rub, so he gave her a back rub. I was like, damn, it's been a minute since I had a good back rub. That sounds nice. He sounds mad like husbandy right now. And she did say that like the transition from him giving her a back rub to initiating was seamless. Chef's kiss. She was like, wow, he put it on her. She said like out in the public, he had a really shy smile and he seemed a bit geeky, but in the privacy of his own place, he was a lot of freaky. She was into it, so they did what consenting adults do. And she also said he takes direction really well, which again, the whole language barrier thing where he seems to understand English pretty well, even though he doesn't really speak it that well. So now that the deed is done, she's like ready to leave. Again, she can't be out too late unless she wants to get in trouble. But Ju did not want her to go. She said she was a little weirded out by that because in her experience with like hooking up, usually, you know, she wants to avoid that whole awkwardness of, so like, am I gonna call you an Uber or
About to call your ass a Uber, I got somewhere to be.
so she thought he would kind of appreciate the girl just wanting to dip right after. And then she went on to explain how she's in the military, she has a curfew, she can't be out too late. He did not want her to go, bro. That's cute, but it's also a little too much too soon, you know?
And I want you to stay.
So after he finally agreed to let her go, he said to like message me when you get back and let me know when you want to see me again. Like I hope we can see each other soon. She agreed and she went to leave, and she said before she even made it downstairs into her taxi, he texted her and asked if she was home. I'm like, did homie think she could just instant transmission back to base? He texted her the whole taxi ride, which she said was something like 45 minutes, just asking if she was okay, asking if she needed anything, asking how she felt, asking if she was home, asking when she was free again, just making a lot of persistent, steady conversation. She said over the next few days, Ju continued to constantly blow her up and would get angry and upset with her if she didn't respond as quickly as he had wanted. She was like, dude, like I have a job, I can't always be on my phone, I don't even get to talk to my parents that much. Then Ju gets upset with her and says, hey, my friend said he saw you on Meet, he saw your account. She's like, okay, small world, like yeah, I guess he saw me. He was upset with Jessie for not removing or deleting her Meef account. Like after they met one time, hooked up one time, he didn't know why she still had a dating profile online, like active. He said, I think we are together now, so why not removing your profile? We're together, what do you do this for?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back.
Together? So in her mind right now, because again, she's not very familiar with Korea at all, she's thinking, oh my god, is that why he was so shocked when I told him I wanted to hook up with him? Does he think this is like an official thing? Is that why he got the candles and the back rub and the wine? Like, does he think I'm his girl now? And you know, Korea does have this really good image out there of this innocence, naivete. So she's really thinking like, oh my god, like they don't do this here, do they?
That is not correct.
She's unfamiliar with how often Koreans engage in hoe behavior like the rest of us. So she had to explain to him very tediously, we're both single still, we're just having fun. I'm in the military, I'm not gonna be here forever, so why would I start a relationship? And she explained that to him. She said, we can continue to meet up and do this, but we're not a relationship. If that's okay, cool. If not, then it was nice meeting you. She said from that, he seemed to understand what she meant and he was okay with it. So y'all, Jessie's about to do something stupid. Don't be like Jessie. We don't judge, we live and we learn. Hindsight is 20/20. She said, don't be like me, but I gotta tell y'all the rest of the story. So she let him hit again.
Bombastic side eye.
For their second meeting, she assumed that they would go back to his apartment, but he actually wanted to get a hotel. Not a love motel, but like an actual hotel, like a proper nice hotel. She didn't think much of it, you know. They did it at his house, they could do it at a hotel. ¿Por qué no los dos? Now in this part of the story, it's about 2 weeks after their first Hookup, and she has like the night off. I'm not sure how this works. I didn't want to like delve too much into military jargon, but she doesn't have a curfew for this night. It's worth noting for this part of the story. So they met at the hotel, and Ju had an overnight bag with him, and Jessie did not. You know, she just came as she was. And he asked like, oh, what are you gonna wear tomorrow in the morning? She was like, in the morning? He's like, achim. She's like, achim? She said, I won't be here in the morning. Like, didn't we talk about this? So then he asked her to spend the night with him. He said, you told me that you had no curfew tonight, so I thought that meant you were gonna spend the night with me. I got a hotel for us so we could have a nice night together. So she's like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I don't have any clothes. But he's like, oh, we can just go to a shop real quick and get you some pants and a top, something to sleep in, and some undies. So again, Jessie agrees to this. She was definitely like a really good sport in her DMs. Like, she was like, look girl, don't judge me through the screen. Like, I was only 21.
You stupid.
21?
She said weirdly at this point she kind of was into how clingy he was. Like, she kind of liked that he was obsessing over her a little bit. She didn't mind him being clingy as long as he knew that she wasn't his girl. One thing that's a little bit weird about meeting Ju this second time around, suddenly his English is so much better.
That's odd.
She said he wasn't really like speaking Korean into his phone and letting the app translate as much. He was speaking to her in English. So when she asked it, because it's only been 2 to 3 weeks since they first met, nobody becomes fluent in a language that quickly, you know? So she asked it, she's like, oh wow, like your English has improved a lot. And he just joked around and started to play dumb and relying on his app again. So like, was homie pretending to not speak English? I don't understand. That makes no sense to me, especially if he claims and acts like he likes her so much. Why would you pretend you can't speak her language? Again, she thought it was all very weird, but she came here for one thing, dick. So to get back to the hotel room, they ordered some takeaway to eat in the room together so they didn't have to really spend or waste time, as she said, out. She just wanted to get what she came for. And she said like while they were eating in the hotel room, he was very much the same way he was when they first met. He was really geeky and like had a cute shy smile and just hoo 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 hoo. So they eat their food, they chill, they're drinking some soju. Well, she's drinking some soju, he's drinking a lot of soju. So it gets to a point in the night where Jessie initiates. She's ready to begin, and she gets up and makes a move on him, and no one realizes how drunk he is until he tries to stand up, but then he falls back into his seat. So he apologized and said he needs some air and maybe a shower will help him sober up. So she's like, okay, yeah, try that. But this was his way of inviting her into the shower. There are definitely some themes in these stories, bro. She declined, however. She said as he was quite drunk, he should try and sober up and shower by himself. So she helps him into the bathroom, and she sits on the bed, kills some time on her phone, and she's killing a lot of time on her phone. Like, she's a fan of a good long shower every now and then too, but she was like, he's been in there for a hot minute. So she knocks on the door, doesn't get a response. And then she calls to him, doesn't get a response. So then she opens the door and the shower is running. So like all this time she thought he was showering, homie is passed out just sitting in the tub with the shower water just running. So she rushed in the bathroom and turned off the shower water and like went to feel for a pulse, because the way he was just slumped over, she was concerned that he was like gone, not drunk gone, but gone, RIP gone. And she was freaking out because the last thing she needs right now is to be caught in a hotel with a dead Korean. Yeah, it's not the best look for the military. Luckily he was fine, a few face slaps, and he just came to a little bit. So she made him drink more water, she made him eat some more food to help sober him up some more. At this point she was like, why am I here? Like, I'd rather just be back on base. This is a waste of time. She had fun up until now, but now she's babysitting. She came here to fuck. She helped him get to the bed and she gave him the food and the water and stuff, and she said that she was gonna leave because what are we doing? But he begged her not to go. He said the reason he wanted to drink so much is because he was trying to detach, because he wanted to be okay with just sex relationship, but he couldn't be. So he thought, if I get drunk, then it'll be easier for me. I was just reading these DMs like, bruh, I've always had the opposite problem. Especially on dating apps in Korea. You always find the guys who only want sex minus a relationship. She finds this guy who prefers a relationship with sex. I was like, girl, give him my number, slide in my way. But no, but that was until I read how this story ends, and no, I don't want no part of that. So again, she said, I am in the military. I am not moving to Korea permanently. You live here, you don't live where I'm from. Why would I start a relationship that I know is going to end? He didn't answer her question. He just asked her to stay the night. And as he was sobering up, she thought, fuck it, fine, I'll stay, because one, it is pretty late. And to be like tiptoeing back in the base at such a late time, she didn't want to do that. So he went to the store to get some more snacks to put some more food in him to help him absorb the soju. So another hour or two goes by and he's seeming to come back to himself, like very quickly, like weirdly, suspiciously quickly. Then he makes a move on her and bam, they're kissing. She said this time things were a lot more different. You know, he was a lot more passionate and intense. The first time he took direction well, this time he was the director. So then they finished doing the deed, and they're laying there having a little bit of pillow talk. She asks him like why he wants to be with her, what does he like about her so much? You know, they've only known each other for 3 weeks to a month at this point. He said he doesn't know either, it's just how he feels. So she asked him, would you be okay being in a relationship with someone you know has an expiration date, like it's going to end? He said yeah. So Jesse goes, let me weigh the pros and cons of this arrangement. Pros, good stable dick, affection, someone to spend my time with in Korea and show me around. Cons, a bit clingy, possessive, inconsistent, very confusing, red flags. Plus, she didn't want to get too deeply involved with someone knowing that it could hurt her heart eventually, and she's like, what if I fell for him and then I had to leave? Like, why would I set myself up for that? In the end, even though the cons outweighed the pros, she agreed. She said, you know what, fine, let's start this little short-term relationship and see where it goes. So as of that moment, they're in a little couple-ship entanglement. I don't know what you want to call it. The next morning, they wake up. It was nice waking up to see his face. He looked cute in the morning, cheeks all puffy. He got them like room service. They ate breakfast together. So then it was time to check out, and she left. She went to get in their taxi to go back to base. They're texting and talking about when they're gonna see each other again. He's like, let me know when you're free. I can't wait to see you again. Smiley face. She's like, ditto, I can't wait to see you too. So she said communication was steady for the next 2 weeks, and then she finally got the word of when she'd be off again and when she had time to go and see him. She let him know, hey, this is when I'm free. Does this time work for you? She messaged him on Kakao, no response. Called him on Kakao, no response. She messaged him on Meef. Do I gotta tell you what happened here? Again, no response. Bruh, I shit you not, that is the last time she ever heard from him. So like after spending all this time, a month or so, trying to convince her to go out with him, as soon as she agrees, he ghosts her.
I'm going ghost!
What more do you want from me?
So the story doesn't end here, however. This was in 2021. So she said around November, December 2022, she came across a Tinder profile with the same pictures, the same age, the same description, but a different name. She doesn't know what happened to him. She's sitting there wondering like,
Did you die?
and that's the end of the story now. Yeah. I would love to know what you guys think about this story in the comments. I'm shook. It makes no sense. I have more questions than answers. If you made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you so much. Second, if you want more story times, fret not. There is a whole playlist about to pop up in a few seconds on the end screen for you to watch and enjoy. Thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.